Hi YouTubers, I'm glad you're here with me today. Thank you very much for you taking your time to watch my videos. There was a magnitude 3.4 earthquake down by Heart Lake today. USGS later downgraded it. They should not have downgraded it to a magnitude 3.3. This here is Beehive that they're looking at. Now, I've talked about the last Yellowstone eruption. Actually, its last super eruption. There has been 40 smaller eruptions since its last major eruption. How it did it unzipping. It started with the magma exploding up there by Madison River. It did a counterclockwise rotation until it got down towards Heart Lake. And then at that time, both resurgent domes, the Sour Creek resurgent dome and the Mallard Lake resurgent dome, collapsed at the same time. On the live webcam there at Old Faithful, this here is the Mallard Lake resurgent dome. Here's the location of that 3.4 earthquake. Let me bring it out. And over here, is it going to show me the name? Is Heart Lake. Okay, and then they have heavy rhyolite flows in this area. I have it marked out right there. The flow of this magma, or lava, it's called magma when it's still under the ground, lava when it erupts, was two different times, 72,000 to 79,000 years ago. This is also along the outside rim of the caldera where it blew out these whole mountain ranges. Can you see that there? See how the mountain abruptly ends? Yeah, this is where that 3.4 earthquake occurred. So 1:36 Universal Time. Here's the 3.4. It is, in fact, a magnitude 3.44. Those of you who have larger screens can see at the bottom MD 3.44. And then there was another earthquake shortly afterwards. Now, this first one occurred at 7:36 p.m. last night. And let's go to the second one at 1:36 in 40 seconds, just a few seconds later. I may have underestimated the size. It comes in, let me bring it down, as a magnitude 2.69. And we'll go to the spectrogram and I'll bring it back up. You'll see the hertz between 1 and a little bit over 10 hertz. The first earthquake, you notice they got a clip. That's when they call what they call it when they cut off when it reaches a certain magnitude, so the lines don't go over other lines. But this is definitely volcanic tremors that you often see when a volcano is getting ready to recharge. Now the next one, let's take a look. Yeah, that is tectonic and volcanic. So like I said, they downgraded the 3.3. You can see we got a swarm going on down here by Heart Lake. Very concerning. And we also got the swarm going on there at the Madison River area. Here is the second one. They did report it as a magnitude 2.4. Now they reported a 1.5 for the same location. I don't know where they got that one from, because the only thing that shows up on the monitors is a 2.4 unless they divided it up into two separate earthquakes. So here's 1:36 and 40 seconds, 1:36 and 50 seconds. This is from the borehole 207. And there's the spectrogram. Yeah, there's nothing in between here. Absolutely nothing. Maybe it's someone new that's working there. This is the live view from the stream view. This one right here, that is at Maple Creek. And this one here is the borehole at Madison River, borehole 207. I don't have this, I believe, downloaded. When I finished downloading the data, it was somewhere in this area at about 16:30 Universal Time. That would have been around 10:30 a.m. today, which is September 1st, 2022. 9 a.m. today, there's 4 different monitors. You can see the earthquake that occurred there. And on the left is Little West Thumb. Next to it is Moose Creek, Idaho, the borehole 207, and Maple Creek. 1500 Universal Time. They haven't reported that one. The last one they reported was at 1418, a 0.1, right? That would have been at 8:33 Mountain Time. So I'm going to take it from the borehole 207. Here's the seismic signature. And there's a spectrogram. 2 bursts of magma coming in. And it comes in as a magnitude 2.12. It looks to be a slow moving tremor. Yeah, and this is tectonic in movement, or the fault line cracking open. You can see the sharpened points, but they haven't gotten around to reporting it. They do have this one marked in red. That's another tremor. Let's extract that, because over here it looks like volcanic. Let's see. Yeah, that's volcanic tremors. That one is marked in red, so they got notification of that, and I'm not going to bother doing that one right now. At 6:35 a.m. Mountain Time, let me pull this up. You can see we got another earthquake. This is Little West Thumb, Moose Creek, Idaho. It doesn't really show up on the borehole. It does, 207, and then Maple Creek. So this was probably in the Madison River area, this earthquake right here. It might be just a coincidence that there was 2 earthquakes there at West Thumb during that time. This is, let me pull it down a little bit. You can see we got lots of popping. Let me go to the signature. I'll make it bigger, I hope. There we go. Yeah, slow moving tremor. And it looks like a mixture of volcanic and tectonic at the same time. Alright, let's pull it over. So that one's marked in red. And then they got another one marked in red, which would be right there. This is a small one there at West Thumb. It comes in as a magnitude 0.98. Bring it down so you can see it. Let me bring it down a little bit farther. Right there. And let's go to the other one that's marked in red. Let's go to its signature. Probably that one right there. And that comes in as a 1.25. Let's go to the spectrogram. Yeah, 1.25. So probably just a coincidence that these happened at the same time as Madison River area. Alright, Madison River, 1.49. I'll show you the signature. And let's extract that. Yeah, volcanic tremors again. Not good. Now this is the borehole. Yeah, a very deep well under the ground, probably over 600 feet that they drilled in and put the monitors in. Here is a diagram of that borehole. Let me make it bigger for this. You can see how deep it is. The seismometer is 661 feet to 663 feet. And then the strain meter is 687 feet. And let's bring this up in case you're interested in all the little details. See, it's got a cement top at the top. And they got a tilt meter there. So here's the tilt meter for that borehole. 207. You can see it there. This is for the last week. And then the disc. I talked about this before, how the uplift was basically almost straight up. And we'll come down to the last month of uplift that's been occurring. And there's its disc. While I'm at it, I'll show you the tilt meter. This is again a borehole for Yellowstone Lake. For the last week, you can see it's been going up. And it's slowly traveling northeast, the tilt. And then the last 30 days. Notice here around the 8th of August. Yeah, it really just kind of shot up. Went down a little bit for the one direction. But here it's just been steadily tipping, rising up. That's the last 30 days. And then the disc, you can see it's traveling northeast. And then I've talked about this before when they started tracking back in 2008 and when they reset the machine. And when the machine wasn't working, tracking the uplift. Then we have Grant, which is by West Thumb. Yeah, lots of dots means lots of shaking going on. This is for the last 7 days. Yeah, look at all those earthquakes within the last week. Yeah. Slightly, slowly going up. Rising up for the last week. And then the last 30 days. Yeah, you can see here how it's been going up. If we draw a line. There, I tried to draw a line for you. Hope you can see it's in yellow. And this is the one for the Madison River area. Did my best. You can see the little lines here on the side. Now, in yesterday's video, I talked about the popping of the rock and how it looked like it had settled down. I still don't see any screaming. Yeah, I would have to say that West Thumb looks like it's settled down. It might have wanted to scream during this area, this time frame. See that? But it never did. And what else do we got here? We got some drum beats going on. Now that's over here. And it continued over here on the next line. Some more drum beats through here. And then we got all this other activity. Let's take a look at the spectrogram. And I'll pull it over so you can see the hertz. And let's take a look at the signature. Yeah, harmonic and tectonic. Yeah, I've talked about this, how the Earth's magnetic field weakens. We're going to see an increase in earthquakes, volcanic eruption. It affects our weather. Yeah, during the last major flip, as many people call it, of the Earth's magnetic field, yeah, the continents actually moved. So we're seeing a lot of that starting. Let's go to the spectrogram. And seeing how the unzipping started up there in Maple Creek, I wanted to take a look at Maple Creek's activity. And you can see we got a line of melt there. And just kind of jump through some of this stuff where I see some earthquakes that occurred. Yeah, see how bright that is? Let's take a look at the signature. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, nothing to see. Absolutely nothing. Looks like a little wound up spring, don't it? Yeah, harmonic tremors. Nothing's going on. They're hoping that the next eruption will be a small eruption. I hope so too. I'm about 500 miles east as a bird flies. If it was a major eruption, I would probably get about 3 feet of ash where I'm at. The roof of the building where I'm renting, it's got a real steep tip to it. It's not flat, so it would probably hold up better than other places. For yeah, the load of ash. If the ash is wet, yeah, it would be more weight, harder to hold. Flat building roofs would collapse. It would stick to the power lines, short out all the power lines, short out the transformers, and they're not made here. They're made in China. I heard a report yesterday. Some city was ordering some more transformers, and they had a 18-month wait. Can you imagine if multiple transformers here in the United States went down, how many years it would take before power would be restored? Yeah, there's the line of melt. Yeah, this is Madison River. So I'm canning a lot of stuff right now. I'm getting it out of my freezer so that I don't have to depend on power. Have a supply of food. Look at that. 2 lines. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of melt. Yeah, so I have food supplies just in case. I also have backup solar. I got 3 different solar batteries. 2 of them are 2,400 watt. Then I have a smaller one. I've posted videos of both of them, the 2,400 watt and the 450 watt. The 2,400 watt solar battery would run my air conditioner. Of course, I'm not going to be running if there's ash falling outside. Nope. But it would run my freezer, my refrigerator. I have some small cooktops that I can use it to cook on. I got a message from somebody who was at Mount St. Helens when Mount St. Helens erupted and the ash started to fall. And they actually had to walk to evacuate wherever they were working. I don't know why they didn't have a car. Maybe they were bussed in. But when it first started falling, it was probably ankle deep where this one woman was at. And she said that the ash was hot. She could feel the heat on her feet and her ankles. And then she got farther out and she managed to hitch a ride with somebody. And then the day before yesterday, I got another email or message here on YouTube. Someone's living there who's been feeling these earthquakes. She might be in a travel trailer, I'm not sure, and was asking about an earthquake that occurred Tuesday night about 6:30. And I showed that in my last video. So did she feel this 3.4 that occurred? I would not be surprised. If you did, put your comments down below. Are you preparing? I mean, not just for volcanic eruptions, but you should prepare for earthquakes and fires and floods and tornadoes, hurricanes, you name it. You should be prepared for all that. And if you put up food, you're beating inflation. They're saying maybe next year hamburger is gonna be $50 a pound. I'm not paying $50 a pound. I could not afford $50 a pound hamburger. People will starve. They will starve. Maybe that's their plan to decrease the world's population. Good view of some new and older dead trees. So that's all I have for you right now. What are your thoughts? Yeah, the earthquake sizes are increasing. And like I said, this newest one, the 3.4, and that swarm that's going on, that's where all the mountains blew out in the last major eruption. Please put those comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share. And if you wish to support my work, I'm also on Patreon. You can join there for as little as $1 a month. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you.